Dallas. And, Ja, you guys jump them early, 7-0 right out of the gate. How much is the energy of that building responsible for fueling you guys for that start you got off to?
Very responsible. Obviously, you know, we feed off their energy and always want to protect home court in front of them. And they came and showed out, you know, big time for us today and helped us get a win.
I'm sure they were all nervous and hoping the ankle was feeling good off that one Aldama miss. You got your eyeballs up there around the rim. How was the ankle feeling this evening?
I couldn't feel it. I think that's why I was out there.
I understand, right? Your availability is your best availability. I understand that. Hey, you had to go tonight or you got no tomorrow. And this is a team, Ja, that you guys spent most of the year in the top 4. You're not built like an 8 seed. What kind of belief exists in the room with you guys?
I kind of thought, you know, we're right where we at, right where we want to be. Back then, you know, the underdogs. Obviously, we go on to face, you know, a tough team in OKC, but we have all the confidence, you know, in ourselves and ready to go Sunday.
And it is a quick turnaround against an excellent team. But, Ja, ever since you've been there, we know that this team has never run from smoke. In fact, you guys run to it. I know you welcome that challenge. What kind of challenge do the Thunder present?
You know, a big challenge. Obviously, you know, we all seen them, you know, over this season. Very well-rounded team. I feel like, you know, they have potential MVP and, you know, Shea over there that's, you know, leading the charge. And we just got to be, you know, very sound defensively, very disciplined, and just play our type of basketball, man.
I know your baby girl's waiting there, and before I let you go, just sort of the sense of this city and how you guys can enter into this playoffs, like you said, wearing that underdog badge, but I don't feel like you guys are an 8 seed. Just one last thought on what you guys feel like you're ready to go do.
We're ready to go achieve our goal. Obviously, it's going to be a process, a long time. We just got to take it day by day. You know, just continue to win the day, each day.
All right. Well, when you get feeling back in that ankle, I imagine it'll be sore. But you got.
Sure.
Well, you got a lot of runway to get that thing healthy, Ja. Thanks for throwing the headset on, man. Good luck the rest of the way. All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, Ja Morant. And the Grizzlies roll, and they were fueled by a huge start. That's a wrap on a season which was impacted significantly by injury, yes, but obviously is going to be remembered for a long, long time for a trade in early February which changed the face of that team and in a lot of ways the league. Dallas did beat Sacramento in the 9-10 game. The Kings moved on from their GM immediately after. Meanwhile, Dallas's embattled GM, Nico Harrison, still has his job. He doubled, then tripled down on the Luka trade in a closed-door meeting with the media prior to the play-in, saying defense wins championships. The Mavs played for a championship last season. They don't qualify for the playoffs this year. And in a loaded West, how do they get back to being close to the championship again anytime soon? And it seemed like almost certainly they don't. All-time stunner from early February will continue to echo in Dallas and around the league. Tim Legler standing by to join us from Memphis. And Tim, I want to just start with the beginning and the group that Memphis started the game with. They've got options, and it's about matchups. And Edey's out there. There's a lot of question when he was at Purdue, can he play in the league? He got another double-double, and I'm not saying he was the guy, but I'm just curious that the grouping they started the game with, because you made mention of it, how significant was that in the start they got out to?
Yeah, listen, I thought Zach Edey was the unsung factor in this game. And this is back-to-back games, really. He had 14 points, 17 boards against Golden State the other night. Struggled a little bit offensively in the fourth quarter of that game. But I thought his size and presence in the paint against a team this big was so important to allow Jaren Jackson Jr. to be more versatile out on the perimeter defensively. Dallas had very little opportunity on the offensive glass. They didn't get much at all really around the rim despite all of that size. So I thought Edey was a factor, but look, the main factor in this game was the pace that the Grizzlies started this game with, converting turnovers into the open floor to transition, living downhill off penetration, and that's really what got this crowd into the game, created the environment. You saw Memphis impose their style of play. That's what the question was for me going into the game. Which team could do that? Memphis clearly did. #1 in the league in pace, and you saw all of that in the first half.
For sure. And look, that's an electric building, and Josh said that they fuel them, they jump them early, score the first 7, they're off to the races, make a bunch of threes. In the same way that Dallas, in a way, won that game with Sacramento with that 44-point second quarter. It felt like the 39-point first quarter created a hill that Dallas just was not going to be able to have the energy to overcome. The matchup that they now face in OKC, this is not an 8-seed Grizzly team. They spent most of the year in the top 4 in the West. I mean, they were separated, obviously, by just a couple games between basically second, third, and then all the way down to 8th. What's your first thought on what kind of problems Memphis can present to a really, really good OKC team?
Well, first, I agree completely. I think that's a good way to sum up this Grizzly team. They're not a typical 8 seed. This was a team that at one point was a 2 seed, spent almost the entire year in the top 4 until that late season slide cost them, and they forced themselves into this position. A lot of talent, star-level talent at the point guard position. Desmond Bane is a problem at the 2. They've got a big that's an all-star in Jaren Jackson, who's a defensive force. They've got a lot of depth on this team as well. But, Scott, here's the one thing that they're going to run into. First of all, a team that has given them massive problems over the last couple of seasons. But more importantly, a team in the Thunder that's #1 in the league at preventing points in transition. Oklahoma City changes ends on the floor better than any team in this league, and they get back and force you to play against their half-court defense, which, by the way, is also #1. Defending the 3, defending the paint, and then converting turnovers into points at the highest rate. So you're talking about a buzzsaw defensively that Memphis is going to run on any given night, Scott, to beat anybody in this league in a particular game. Over the course of a series, with what Oklahoma City represents defensively, it's an incredible challenge for the Grizzlies.
You got to do it 4 times. We don't have a ton of time. Just a sentence. You know how we do here. Not a paragraph, not a page, a sentence. The series you're most looking forward to as the playoffs get going on Saturday.
You got to give me that Clippers Nuggets, man. That is tasty. The Clippers have really injected themselves into the conversation in the Western Conference, the way they played down the stretch, the way Kawhi Leonard looked over the last couple of months with an elite defense around him. That's the one I look at more than any other, and you picture, one of those teams moving into the second round to potentially challenge OKC. I'm not going to put Memphis to bed yet, but it's got to be that 4-5 matchup in the West, Scott.
That's a paragraph, but I'm never gonna be mad. Tim, you know I love you, brother. I appreciate you. We'll be talking again next week.
You got it, man.
All right. Give me as much legs as I can get. You know what that's about. All right. This win or go home game of the night was spectacular in Atlanta. It looked like it might be a snooze for a bit as Tyler Hero and Miami are out and running off the miss on the alley-oop. Kyle Anderson, the lead for Tyler Hero, and give me all 3 of these. The Heat.
Hello, xin chào các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh YouTube của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục đi tô màu để gửi tặng đến các bạn những phút giây thư giãn. Chào mừng các bạn. Rất hân hạnh các bạn đã đến với video của mình.